Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our August 2024 OCHMS user meeting. Please enter your name and agency into the chat so that we can take attendance. Our team will cover the following topics in today's meeting: HMS Part 2 recertification, data entry regarding Social Security number, Quarter 2 COC dashboard, CS referral linkage, CS referral corrections, and we wanted to go over Goal 11 receive referrals from the coordinated entry system, an update regarding the availability tab, housing opportunity screens, project performance report, an announcement regarding our data and performance management meeting, sharing some training and resources, a holiday announcement, a new HMS staff position, and we do have time for Q&A to cover topics that we discussed in the meeting. And we will also stay online for office hours to go over general HMS functionality questions. Michaela, could you get us started?
Good morning, everyone. So we're starting with our HMIS Part 2 recertification. The 2024 recertification schedule has been updated and will take place this summer for users that were added between the dates of June 1st, 2023 and December 31st, 2023. Agency admins must submit the 2024 HMIS Part 2 recertification form for their users by August 30th to avoid having their accounts locked until the recertification is completed. Users with read-only accounts or accounts created on or after January 1st are excluded from this requirement. Moving forward, the HMIS Part 2 recertifications will take place in July. Recertifications will resume the following year, 2025, for all users. Agency admins can run the Agency Active Users Report to review active users at their agency as needed, following data analysis, user management, and agency active users.
Thank you, Michaela. And I wanted to add a note. Agency admins can submit a ticket and notify our HMS team if users have recently retaken the HMS training due to inactivity, or if they transfer to your agency and had to retake the training. Please do notify us so that we can look up that record and they can be excluded from the recertification if they recently retook the skill tests. So please do submit a ticket and let us know. Each agency should have received a list of users that needed to participate in this year's HMS HMS Part 2 recertification in your Dropbox in July. Kayla, just gonna pause to see if there's any questions. I don't see any questions. Oh, there is a question. If we don't receive an email, we don't have to recertify. Yes, if you didn't receive an email, you wouldn't have to redo the recertification. But as Michaela mentioned, you can also run the active user report for your agency, and any users with the date that their account was created between June 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 would have to retake the certification. And thank you, Heather. Heather provided some links for additional information regarding the HMS Part 2 recertification. We had a question if the email went out. Yes, the email did go out in July when this first started. We're going to be sending out a reminder email. So by the end of the week, we're going to be sending out a reminder email for the due date that's coming up August 30th. So please keep an eye out for our agency admins. You'll be getting an email to remind you to support your users that are required to complete this task. Don't see any more questions. We'll go to the next topic.
Next, we have our data entry 3.02 Social Security number. Social Security number is collected to support the unique identification of each person served. COCs rely on unique identifiers to produce an unduplicated count in HMIS. Also, an important objective for ending homelessness is to increase access and utilization of mainstream programs. The Social Security number is a required data element for many mainstream programs. Projects may need the Social Security number to help their clients access mainstream services. Note that the FY 2024 PATH, COC, and ESG funded projects are only required to collect the last 4 digits of the Social Security number, though are not prohibited from collecting all 9 digits. Some projects may serve clients that do not serve or do not have a Social Security number. In these in these cases, select client doesn't know. The federal statute at 5 USC section 522A prohibits a government agency from denying shelter or services to clients who refuse to provide their Social Security number or do not know their Social Security number. Next slide, please. We have a new update. So if there is a invalid Social Security number warning, there is a release date of August 12, 2024. When a user enters a Social Security number for a client, the HMIS system will check to see if the Social Security number is valid. A Social Security number is considered invalid if any of the following are true. The last 4 digits of the Social Security number are 0000. The first 3 digits are 000666 or starting with 9. The middle digits of 4 and 5 or the second grouping of digits are 00. The digits are repetitive, like 000000000, or the digits are sequential, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If the Social Security number is invalid, the system will display a pop-up warning, and the user can click cancel if it is and correct the Social Security number. If the user clicks cancel, the pop-up disappears. The user's mouse returns to the first digit of the Social Security number. The Social Security number field is underlined in red, as you will see over to the right. The user can change the Social Security number and save the profile with the edited Social Security number. If the user enters another invalid Social Security number, the pop-up appears again. This continues until a valid Social Security number is entered. The user can click OK to save invalid Social Security number. If the user clicks OK, the pop-up does disappear. The Social Security number field is not underlined in red, and the user can save the profile with the invalid Social Security number.
Thank you, Michaela. Wanted to know the release date for the live training site, or sorry, live site is August 12th. So this will be live in our live Clarity site that date. We had a question if this is new. Yes, this is a new functionality with Clarity that will be pushed out. And we had a question for this data reporting if the participant provide the last 4 digit, what would be the appropriate quality of SSN selection? So in Michaela's example, as mentioned, it's when not a complete SSN number is entered, the quality of SSN will actually populate approximate or partial SSN reported. So that would be the appropriate selection for quality of SSN. Another question, we serve households who are legal residents without an SSN and they have an ID that does not match SSN format. What do we do in those instances? Erin, could you support with that question?
It kind of broke up for me a little bit. Was the question if what to do if they have a number that's not an SSN?
Yes, if it doesn't match the SSN format, and a similar question is, will ITINS be accepted?
So the field should just be used for an actual social security number. So if the client doesn't have that, or if they have some other number, that would not be entered. It would just be left blank. And the SSN data quality field would be doesn't know, because that's the HUD guidance to be selected if a client doesn't have an SSN.
Support. Wanted to go back to our first slide, the last paragraph, a little bit more context, as Erin verified that in those cases, do not enter in a number and set the response to client doesn't know. Michaela, I don't see any other questions coming in, so we can go to the next slide, which is also included in the SSN section.
I think it's one more. There we go. Social Security number, allow entry of non-numeric characters for unknown or refused Social Security number digits. Clarity will now allow users to enter a non-numeric character for any digits of a client's Social Security number that is unknown or refused by the client. And the system will automatically convert those non-numeric characters to an X. If a non-numeric character is entered for all 9 digits of the Social Security number, the quality of the Social Security number field defaults the client does not know, but is edible. If any digit in the Social Security number has a non-numeric character, such as XXX456789 or the following, and there are no more than 8 non-numeric characters in the Social Security number, the quality of Social Security number field defaults to approximate or partial Social Security number reported, but is edible. If the consent refuse toggle is enabled in a client's profile, Clarity will automatically convert those zeros for the Social Security number to X's when the profile is saved.
And wanted to show some examples of this to the right-hand side. So for participants that don't have Social Security, we are now able to put X in and select client doesn't know. And for participants that you don't have the whole Social Security, and if there's any if you're not entering in numbers, X would be substituted in. And the last example, which is if the toggle client refuses selected, the screen itself will automatically enter in X's, and the quality of SSN would be automatically populating client prefers not to answer. Michaela, I'm gonna just take a couple seconds to see if any questions come in. Question, does the quality of SSNs change if all zeros are entered? Yes. When all zeros are entered, there's actually going to be a pop-up window indicating that the SSN does not follow the Social Security Administrative Guidelines. And this is where users have the option to click OK or cancel and make those corrections. When the user clicks cancel, they have the option to then correct those, that data entry, and then click save. If they do click OK, it's going to adjust the quality of SSN to appropriate response. Do we have to go back and correct past SSN to follow this new format of SSN was unknown? So this would be for when you're doing data quality check and you have the information to make those corrections. Yes, to work on corrections and data quality check as needed. But this is for, this release is moving forward for any new entries. Would have this warning message that pops up. But in general, of course, sorry, go ahead, Erin.
Oh, I was just going to add, so the change is that this functionality is new, that it will, it's smarter now, I guess you could say. So it's looking at what you're entering for the SSN field and then updating the SSN data quality. But the guidance around when an SSN should be don't know or refused or whatever, that's not new guidance. That has already been in effect. And so, yes, if you have social security numbers that aren't full, you should be looking at that when you're reviewing your data quality and correcting that SSN data quality.
For the additional notes. And wanted to let everyone, all of our users know that this functionality is available on the training site as of today. So if you would like to test it out and see the warning sign and how the new function will eventually go to the live site, please feel free to access the training site and test out adding a new client and kind of test out the different scenarios that are discussed in this meeting. Michaela, I don't see any of the questions, so we'll move forward for now.
Our new COC dashboard has been published on our website. So the following OCHMIS.org reports and Orange County COC dashboard. Our page 1 is our HMIS data, in which it has our household compensation, our gender, age group, race and ethnicity, disability information, special populations, entry situations, and performance. For our page 2, we have our call center data, demographics, service area planning, information, and referral needs. And for page 3, we have our virtual front door report, which provides information as far as referrals by agency, veteran information, homeless contact, household type, referrals to access points for homeless contacts with HMIS profiles, crisis critical, and vulnerable calls. And again, it is on our OCHMIS.org website, following reports in our Orange County COC dashboard.
Thank you, Michaela. And Heather also dropped the link into the chat. I don't see any other questions regarding the report, so we'll move forward. Hugo?
Good morning, everyone. Today I want to talk about CS referral linkages. Users should regularly review all pending CES referral matches to their agency and process them accurately. If a client has a CS referral pending, but they are already enrolled in a PH project, then an agency admin should open a ticket with the HMIS help desk to support in creating a linkage. Next slide, please. So here I'm going to share my screen so you can see an example of this from what it would look like from a user's perspective. Can everyone see my screen right now?
Yes, we can see your screen, Hugo.
Good. Right now, I am on the OC Clarity training site, and I am working under the OC training agency. As you can see, I have a fictitious client, Phoenix Wright, who is enrolled in CES with a referral. But as you can also see under the Programs tab, they are also enrolled in an OC training agency PH project. These two are separate, and you can verify that because there is no linkage between these two programs. If there was a linkage icon would appear right here under the housing project. If we were to move to the history tab, you can see that this client has a referral from the County of Orange to OC Training Agency's Rapid Rehousing Training Project, and you can see that this referral is actively pending. Meanwhile, despite the fact that this client has been referred from the County of Orange to OC Training Agency's Rapid Rehousing Training Project, they are already enrolled in OC Training Agency's PH project, and you can see that this is active here, and that these two projects are not connected to one another. If I am to move on to what it would look like when a linkage is created, as you can see, I have a separate fictitious client who has been enrolled in coordinated entry with a referral and who's also enrolled in Orange County Training Agency's Permanent Supportive Housing Project. As you can see, when a linkage is created between these two, a linkage icon will appear at the right-hand side. If I move on to the History tab, you can see that the client had a referral from the County of Orange to OC Training Agency's Rapid Rehousing Project, but that this referral is no longer pending. In fact, the end date for this referral coincides to the start date that client was enrolled in OC Training Agency's Permanent Support Housing Project. This project is active, and you can see that these two have been linked. You can verify this by seeing the linkage icon right here.
Thank you, Hugo. And I wanted to share some notes. There are cases where a participant may be referred to one project, but ended up enrolled in a different project, and there are various reasons. It could be that they had a better fit under a separate project, or due to funding, they are transferred to that project. So when that occurs, please review your pending tab for your agency, any pending referrals. If you're aware that those participants are enrolled in a project and the linkage needs to be created, please submit a ticket so that we can support with making that linkage so that it indicate that the participant did receive the participant from a CS referral, and that linkage is created, and then it will close out the referral. As Hugo mentioned, the status will no longer be listed as pending, but would have an end date. We're just gonna take a quick pause to see if there's any questions. We did have a question about the presentation, if it can be emailed out. And yes, we will be sending out a recap email to all users. So you'll be able to have a copy of the recording as well as the slides and meeting minutes. And all of our meeting materials are also available on our website. I don't see any questions regarding the CS linkage, so We're going to move on to the next topic.
CES referral connections. Users should regularly review their CES referrals to make sure that they are processed correctly. An agency may need to deny a referral for various reasons, including but not limited to the household not being eligible for the project, the household declining housing, or the household falling out of contact with their caseworkers. Users should consult with the denied reasoning table to determine if the reasoning behind the denial lies with the client or with the housing provider. Next slide, please. As you can see here, we have a copy of the CES denied reasoning table. As you can see, this table is split into two columns, client and housing provider. If we were to take the first listed item, client deceased, if a client were to be deceased, then the client would no longer be eligible for that CES referral, and so the denied reasoning would lie on behalf of the client. However, if we were to take the fourth example, client previously received service, then the client can also be denied for that CS referral, but the denial would instead be on the part of the housing provider. Sometimes clients can also be denied for various other reasons. However, we would like to highlight some common other reasonings for denial, which may be better suited, which may be better explained by another commonly listed reason. For example, third reasoning on the second table, client denied, can be better described as client refused services. Next slide, please. If a user identifies a referral error, they should notify their agency administrator, who should then escalate the issue to the HMIS help desk. The HMIS help desk will support agency administrators with recreating the CES referrals to record the accurate denial type and reasoning. More information about this topic can be found in the Denying a Referral section of our Community Queue for Housing Agencies Knowledge Base article.
Hugo, and we included the KB in the chat. Again, all materials, link, and resources will also be available in our meeting minutes. We do have a question to go back to the previous slide. Please feel free to let us know if there's any question regarding this table. It is included in our KB that will provide additional information. As Hugo mentioned, depending on the reason of denial, that would let you know what it corresponds to and the denial type. So if the listed reason is on the chart, you see that if it's denied by client, there's going to be an X next to that reason. And if it's denied by housing provider, there's going to be an X next to under that column. So depending on the reason, it would that would help you determine the denied type. Question: if a client is denied and the person enters in a reason, does the denial type client / provider automatically populate in the denial form? So the way the screen works is that the denial type actually populates first and then the reason populates after. So this table is to help users determine just entering the denial type first, whether it's client or housing provider, and then choosing the reason from the list that populates after. Please feel free to add additional question if there's any follow-up regarding that. Yes, so there is a follow-up question, but someone could potentially put in a client type denial as a provider denial. Yes, that is correct. That could occur That is why we wanted to bring attention to have users review and ensure that they're selecting the correct denial type and reason that corresponds to that denial type. And if there are any errors, that the HMIS agency admin can submit a ticket to the HMIS help desk so that we can support with making those corrections. Questions? I don't see any coming in for this topic, so we'll move forward. So this relates to the CS referral linkage and corrections that we previously mentioned. We wanted to let agencies know that they can run the PPR to review this data, especially for projects that are funded with COC and ESG funds that do require CS referral to their program. So goal 11 is included for PSH and rapid rehousing PPR. So when you're running the PPR, reports, you would be able to review this data for your project. The goal is for permanent housing project should be receiving referrals from the coordinated entry to ensure that the highest priority clients are served the housing resources they need to end their homelessness. And the universe of clients that are included in this measure is head of households with a project start date during the reporting period. This measure is comparing the number of new enrollments in the housing project during the reporting period to the number of completed referrals to the housing project during that reporting period. And completed referrals means that a household was matched to a housing opportunity through CES and that the match resulted in an enrollment in a housing project at the agency. There are some clients that would be excluded from this measure. So if they enter from rental by client or PS coming from another PH, that would just mean that they were transferring. So the day between the projects would be within a day. So they're just transferring. We do have a question. What is the PPR report? So the PPR is the project performance report. So the project performance report is a report that our agency runs for each project type twice a year to review how projects in the COC is performing. So on the screenshot at the very top, you'll see that it is the goal 11 table. And from this example, you'll see that there are 6 PSH projects. The blue bar will indicate enrollments that received a CS referral, and any enrollments that did not come from a CS referral will be flagged and on the chart would be represented with the pink bar. That would be the dashboard report, and we also have a details report that you could run to see client level data, which is the example of the second screenshot with the table. The 2 highlighted dates on the right-hand side are the dates that you should pay attention to verify if that participant received a CS referral. You'll notice that the first client does not have any dates, and it's blank for those 2 columns. And the second client does have dates. The first date is date referral was reassigned date, meaning there was a match for this participant to a program, and that's a date they were matched. Date accepted in project date would indicate the date that they were enrolled into the project, and you'll notice that it does correspond to the project start date. As Hugo mentioned, there are situations where a participant is matched to a housing opportunity, and they then are enrolled into a different project. So for this example, this client, the first client, doesn't have a match. So what you need to do is investigate to see if there was a linkage, if there was a referral, but a linkage needs to be created because they were then enrolled into a different project than the original project they were matched to. We do have a question about what report can I run to verify my clients have been referred through CS by project. So we do have project performance reports that would be helpful to review. So there is a dashboard version and a details version. So the dashboard would give you just a table and a quick snapshot of your agency data, and the details will break it down to client level data. Just want to take a quick pause to see if there's any other questions. Okay, I don't see any questions coming in, so we'll move forward for now. There has been some updates to the housing opportunity screen, and we wanted to share those updates with all the users. So each housing agency is responsible for entering and updating any housing opportunity at your agency. We wanted to offer some tips to review the housing opportunity screen thoroughly to ensure that you're selecting criteria specific to the unit and any preference for that project. That would be helpful for matching the participants to that opportunity. There's also additional detail in our KB, Community Queue for Housing Agency. If you scroll to the section adding and editing housing opportunity, there's more details there as well. So if your agency added any housing opportunities today, you would have noticed that the screen was updated with new fields. So starting today and moving forward, each agency will need to ensure that they review the screen thoroughly to select any criteria that is applicable to the opportunity they're entering. The orange box is indicating the new fields that are added to the screen. As mentioned, the screen has expanded due to the new fields, so please do scroll all the way down to review all the fields for the opportunity and select any applicable criteria. For toggles, when you're pushing the toggle forward, that is indicating that this opportunity is for those criteria. And for fields that require some dates or text, you will have the option to enter date and text. There is Anaheim Housing Opportunity, Orange County Housing Opportunity, and Santa Ana Housing Opportunity. When pushing the toggle forward, this is indicating that this is a housing authority opportunity. There's a new field, city tied required. If you're pushing the toggle forward, it is indicating that this unit does require a city tie. And then you would also need to put in the city preference, put a city in the city preference field. A new field is the unit must be occupied by. If there's a deadline for this unit to be occupied, please do add that date. And when you're made aware of that, please do enter in the opportunity as soon as possible and enter in that date as needed. There's also a new field for housing developed property name and housing unit name. So if this opportunity or unit is part of a housing development project, please do add that name. And for housing unit name, if this opportunity is for a specific unit, please do add that information into that field. We also have a new field for MHSA. If there are some MSA eligibility requirement, please push that toggle forward. And as you're reviewing the fields, if there's any criteria that isn't already listed in one of those fields, there is additional text, additional notes box that you can add additional details there. Question, has the knowledge base training been updated to include these new options? Could you clarify, are you asking about the KB or the training sites? Yes. Yes, our KB will be updated to reflect all these updates. It does already include fields previously available on the Housing Opportunities screen, and the update will reflect all the additional new fields and some notes on how to identify if you need to push a toggle forward or add detail for the fields needed. This will be under the Add and Edit Housing Opportunities section within that KB. Thank you for your question. I don't see any additional questions coming in for this topic, so we'll move forward for now. Project performance reports. We wanted to let everyone know that our current and past PPR are available on our website. Please feel free to review the project type that your agency operates. It's available under the reports tab, and you can navigate to project performance. Corrections for homeless prevention PPR draft data will be sent out later this week. Agencies that operate homeless prevention will be receiving an email to provide more details on how to review the draft data and any action that is needed that needs to be taken by your agency. We will also include the project performance overview. It's a helpful document that will go over each goal and which goals are applicable to your project type and the threshold for each project type as well. And thank you, Heather. Heather added the link to the project performance report as well as the overview document in the chat. We wanted to let everyone know that the Data and Performance Management meeting will be taking place next Wednesday. The following topics would be covered in the meeting. We'll be going over the quarterly project performance report, and we'll review and discuss the following project type: current supportive housing and other PH project, rapid rehousing, and transitional housing. Oh, thank you. There's some notes that my audio is breaking out. Can you guys hear me a little bit better?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. As I mentioned, we're going to be reviewing the quarterly report that was published in Q2. So that we'll be going over those 3 project type, as well as Q2 data quality report card. And there's been requests to do a deeper dive of our LSA system map. So we'll also be reviewing that. So the meeting will be next Wednesday at 10, and we're going to be sending out a reminder tomorrow as well as next week with the meeting materials. Oh, sorry, meeting link. Training and resources. We wanted to take the time to share any training and resources that are coming up. Many of you may have already received a newsletter from the Office of Care Coordination. The Office of Care Coordination will be hosting 2 trainings coming up this month. There's going to be a Housing First training that will take place Wednesday, August 21st at 1 to 2:30. And there's also another training later this month, August 29th at this between 1 and 2:30, covering trauma-informed care training. This training does require registration, so please do register by August 28th. Again, all the materials that we'll be sharing will also be recapped in our meeting minutes, and please keep an eye out for the newsletter for additional details. Resource we wanted to bring back up to everyone's attention as agencies are completing their SAGE APR report. We did go over this material during July's meeting, but we wanted to bring it up again so that as agencies are completing their SAGE report, they can review the new requirement. As of June 1st, 2024, HUD is requiring that all APR submission includes program eligibility form. So as you're entering and uploading your APR CSV file, this section will pop up. This is to provide agencies the opportunity to provide additional context for participants that did not enter from a homeless situation. And we wanted to also share a link to the guide that would provide additional context. And the document itself does provide a table and breaks down information on which situation would require a response. Heather, could you please add the SAGE APR guide into the chat? I don't think I see any questions regarding the SAGE APR, so we'll move forward for now. Michaela?
Can you to the next slide, please?
Oh, Elizabeth's back.
Okay, everyone. So we have a holiday observed. The HMIS Help Desk would be closed on Monday, September 2nd in observance for Labor Day. We will be back in the office the following business day to help assist you on Tuesday, September 3rd.
Here the SAGE material. If not, I can reshare.
You were breaking up a bit for the SAGE thing. It might be good to do it again.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you everyone for sharing your notes and letting me know there's some audio issue. Appreciate that. Just wanted to reshare the SAGE APR new requirements. We did go a little bit more detail in July's meeting, so we do encourage you going to review the July user meeting, but to provide a quick overview that there is a new requirement as of June 1st, 2024. HUD is going to require all APR submission include the program eligibility form. So when agencies are submitting their APR CSV upload, there's going to be a new section for your report. It's going to populate when you upload your APR CSV report. This is to review Q15, which is living situation. So any participant that is not coming from a homeless situation is going to require agency to provide additional notes on how that client's eligibility was determined. Since COC projects and YHP, DP, and special NOFO project are all required to enroll clients from a homeless situation, there are some cases that a participant eligibility was determined based on your program entry. So based off of that, there is going to be sections that will populate if the participant isn't entering from a homeless situation. And there is a guide. Thank you, Heather, for adding that into the chat. The guide does provide additional detail. There's a table that breaks it down on which situation that will require an explanation. Question, is this for head of household only or all members of the household? So, yes, I believe it is head of household. Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong.
That is my understanding, but we can confirm and put it in the meeting minutes.
Yeah, thank you for your question. Michaela?
We also have a new HMIS staff position. The HMIS Help Desk is hiring for a new HMIS support specialist.
And if you are, someone who is interested, we encourage you to review the job description and please apply. So we do have some time for Q&A. For those who are joining us a little bit later, please make sure to enter your name and your agency name into the chat box for attendance. If you have any question that we didn't get to address yet, please feel free to add that into the chat or unmute yourself.
Hi, Elizabeth. This is Julio with the healthcare agency. I am so sorry. I was putting out a fire, so I caught the tail end of the conversation with the social security number. Do you mind giving me like the cliff notes? If a client doesn't have a full social, what do we use to substitute the numbers that we don't have?
So if it's partial, you can actually enter in X now, and that would indicate that you didn't have that portion of the Social Security.
Perfect. And I saw in the chat somebody asked if we're going to be expected to go back and clean up some of the socials that might have already been put in. Is that going to be an expectation?
As mentioned, it would be if moving forward for new client profile, but if you are doing quality data review, it's always an ongoing process. So if you have the information to make those corrections, please do.
And also, I just remembered, in regards to the X's on the SSN, BitFocus is doing a script for us. So if you have existing clients that are like 00000, and then the last four are their social security number, BitFocus is supposed to be doing a script to change those zeros to X's.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. I appreciate that.
And thank you for your question.
Hi, this is Bea from Garden Grove Housing. I have a question about topics that are not covered in this session. Is that okay if I raise the question now, or should I just, bring it up with help desk?
Oh, yes. Those questions can be asked in office hours. So for those who don't want to stay on for office hours, we just want to thank you all for joining us today. And our next user meeting will be September 4th. And we can get started with office hours to ask general HMS questions.
Okay. So our agency just received an email about minimum participation requirements.